All right, what's up, everybody? I'm Chaz Wolfe, the host here today. We are at the Culture Convergence event here in Minneapolis, and got all kinds of incredible things happening today. But right now, in the midst of, we got some performance happening out there. I'm not sure, maybe a panel of sorts. You guys might hear them in the background, but I've got Joe Glaser here with us today, and we're going to be discussing a little bit of everything, but NFTs, DeFi, maybe even a little bit of construction, and how maybe if I can draw you into it. Joe, I want to know first off, because you came from construction. I know we're kind of jumping right into it here, but we were talking about this before we turned on the recording, and it's like, okay, I'm in construction. I have other businesses. There's lots of people maybe listening to this right now that are like, maybe even what is an NFT, right?
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
What is right? What is this? But like, you told me just a few minutes right over there, you were like, I was the guy in construction that didn't even know how to send an email.
Yeah.
But here you are, you have an NFT project, you're speaking on a stage right now that's like, hey, you're a little bit of an expert.
Sure. Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah. Very good question. I could not send an email. I'd get frustrated, turning a laptop on. That was basically, everything I did was to avoid having to ever touch a computer. Even when having to do estimates or bids, when I had my construction company, I did everything I could to not have to do that. And, I would go, kicking and screaming. You had to drag me in front of the computer to do my computer work. Hated everything about it. And I would always kind of make some saying computers don't frame walls. I was just so against it. I hate
old school mentality.
Totally. Give me a piece of paper and I'll just write out a bid. So how that all happened was when blockchain technology started to get popular and started to.
When was this for you?
For me, blockchain. I mean, let's see. The white paper for Bitcoin I think came out in 2008 or 9, something like that. For me, it won't be until somewhere around 2017, 18, where I kind of have my awakening with this. And again, I'm building luxury homes in Beverly Hills at this point, and I'm not, again, doing everything I can to not send an email, which actually in a funny way worked because the people I was working for liked the discreetness. So it actually helped me in a way. You're I don't have a website. And I'm like, oh, great. And so,
my secret home.
Yeah, exactly. And so, the cohort that I was working for is very word of mouth. So it totally did kind of help me in a strange, happy accident.
Yeah.
But what happened was when I started to learn about blockchain technology, which it's funny, you can't turn a computer on and here you are learning about blockchain.
Right.
I heard some talks on it, and I came to it in a very philosophical way. I saw how it could really help human freedom and flourishing. And, there's a few things that I would say really impacted me a lot growing up. Financial crisis in 2008, it's a big one. Something that really helped form my opinion around just a lot of things. How the government interacts with its citizenry, how people interact with financial institutions, just those relationships. And, I was definitely scratching my head, why is the government bailing out the people that caused this problem and not the people who are getting kicked out of their home? And then when I started to learn about blockchain and I could see how this would increase just freedom for people, and I could play the tape forward and see how it would really be the death knell for that type of whatever that system is that you want to, crony capitalism or whatever. And again, I'm a total free market guy. I'm not. I was never wearing the Che Guevara shirt or something like that. I was not coming at it from some revolutionary stance. It just, everything felt profoundly unfair. And with blockchain, I could see here's a way where people can really take ownership of their own financial future. And me just kind of coming from the life that I'd come from, very poor upbringing, profoundly impoverished, and which is kind of actually what gave me my entrepreneurial spirit, really. Really just, you go one of two ways with that, I guess, and I went the, pull myself up by the bootstrap way. And I just saw how blockchain could, just how that technology was going to make people more free, how it was going to enable people to really like break out of, the matrix, I guess, and, take charge of their own life in a way that was never available to us before. Yeah. So I came to this in a very philosophical way. Yeah. And so although I couldn't turn the computer on to trade crypto, I knew I wanted to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so that drove me to, okay, step one, let's learn how to turn this damn machine on. Yep. Okay. Step two, how do we send an email? Okay, here we go. And, so I went through the learning curve and, finally figured out how to like go trade crypto, which means I got stolen from a lot, is what that means, because I had no clue what I was doing. And so, although I didn't, get a college degree, I always say like that was that was me paying for my education.
Oh, for sure. I think every entrepreneur says that at some point, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
All the mistakes.
All those mistakes. Exactly. That's and they were costly, and there were a lot of them. And, I got scammed, and it just all the things that you hear with people learning crypto. Yeah. And it probably happened to me more because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Yeah. So
that lens was a little bit foggy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But again, you got to touch the fire to know it's hot. Yeah. And so, right. I learned, and again, since I was coming at it from such a philosophical place, right. None of that stuff bugged me. I would be able to just, okay, well, yeah, this guy stole 70 grand from me. All right, well, let's get back at it and figure out how to not do that again.
It wasn't the concept of blockchain that stole your money.
No.
It was humans.
It was a human being, exactly. It was a bad actor, so.
It's interesting, that philosophical approach, because maybe I think my awakening was similar to that, but mine was really about optimization. As a serial entrepreneur, like I was describing before, I've got retail franchises, I've got a construction company, I've got a community online for entrepreneurs, I have investments. And so as I'm thinking about life, I think about optimization. Yeah. When I think of blockchain, I'm like, oh, this can make all of what you wanted to do on paper easy and streamlined and like clear for everyone to be able to understand.
Totally.
Talk about it from that perspective, coming from where you did,
Yeah. Sure. Okay. So I was definitely always, I'd hear that argument before with like, well, email, this makes everything so much more efficient. And
right.
So, sure, yeah, but I'm still writing the email. I don't see how it's making anything that much more efficient. Sure. And plus I have to learn a whole new skill when I already know how to write. So so I was.
You could say those same arguments.
Yep.
For crypto, for NFTs, for like why spend the time to learn it? Yeah. Right. Why spend the time to trade it?
This is one of those times where, okay, I was just profoundly wrong, and it really does make things just a million times more efficient. And without getting into just some of the crazy technical stuff, which I'm still probably not even the right person for that, although I do know I can get technical now. I'm conversational. Right. It simply does make things profoundly more efficient. Whether you're storing data, whatever it is, it just makes things so much more efficient. And then just from like a security stance, what we can do now, what blockchain allows us to do, just for like, securing people's, whether it be health records or money, or, it's just cryptography is just the kind of mathematics that is not, taught in grade school. Right. Yep. And in order for these, think about it, for like Bitcoin to be mined, you have warehouses full of computers trying to, crack that cryptography. So, this is very, the security on this stuff is just, it's out of this world, and it's only getting better, and so again, wherever we're going with it, it's so much more efficient that, my attitude has obviously changed a lot in the last 15 years over these things.
Yeah, I think that especially coming from construction, it's like, well, we didn't get rid of the axe. Right. We just upgraded to the chainsaw, and we use the axe when it's appropriate.
Right.
Same thing for crypto / other investments and or the way to move money and or the way to track things.
Yep.
Doesn't mean that we get rid of it necessarily, but
No, it's like, again, like that axe and chainsaw is great. I mean, they're both performing the function of cutting, right? Just one's doing it with less effort. Yeah. And that's the exact analogy.
Yeah. In those early days for you, what was like in that learning? I'm just trying to grab maybe one of our audience members who's like, okay, I'm right there in that like frustrating, I'm trying to learn, maybe they've been stolen from. Yeah. What was like that kind of like hard thing that kind of had to push through to get to the other side?
Well, that is, so, the like getting stolen from, or what we call, getting rugged, right. Or wrecked, all just first, the Web3 language, right. Going through look, when you're going through it, it sucks. Your stomach gets sick, your face turns white, and you look at your wallet and this is gone. Yeah, that's tough, and you want to go crawl into a corner and cry, it's awful. It's a horrible feeling. But once you get over that initial shock and pull yourself back out of that, and I've had so many people who they go through that and they slam their laptop closed and I'm out, I'm never doing this again. That does happen. In fact, I know people who have done that. And really, I kind of just feel sorry for those people when it's like, wow, well, you kind of let some scumbag beat you and win. And again, just the opportunity here, again, and like anything else, there's bad actors. There's bad actors everywhere. You can get mugged outside here going back to the hotel, so it doesn't mean that I'm not going to stop walking on streets, right? Again, it's going to happen. We need to, the way I look at that is, one thing we've yet to do is look, human beings, we respond and react to incentives. We need to incentivize good behavior and punish bad behavior. Right now, one thing that hasn't been done yet in Web3, and it hasn't been done well yet, is having consequences for bad behavior and incentivizing good behavior. Once it becomes more profitable for people to act good and altruistic, they will. Right now, there's a financial incentive for scammers to go and scam people. Once the punishment outweighs the financial incentive, that'll stop. There hasn't, and look, maybe you can be the person who creates this, whoever's watching this, whoever can create a system to police that. Right. You're going to be you'll be a billionaire. You'll be a billionaire if you can create that.
Yeah,
so
it's a big enough problem.
Yeah, it's a massive problem.
What I'm hearing as the takeaway here, and then we talk about this inside of our community, Gathering the Kings for Entrepreneurs, but it's mindset. In order to win, you have to have a strong mind, which means you're going to experience failure. You're going to experience, someone stealing, cheating, lying, and perseverance. There's a whole chapter on this in Think and Grow Rich, which is kind of like the success.
Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, this is where all the success stories are, or principles are. And so it's like, okay, so perseverance or persistence is like getting an experience like this and going, okay, and not being pervasive about it and going, well, fine, close the laptop and I'm done.
Yep.
Right. I'm not going to operate in permanency. I'm going to operate in, okay, the philosophy, of crypto, blockchain, how money is moved around is changing rapidly.
Oh yeah.
And this is where we're going. I think back in 2017, people were like, I don't know.
Right,
it's like,
right.
No. This is where we're going.
Genie's out of the bottle. You ain't putting the toothpaste back in the tube. All that. This is where we're going.
And so you gotta come ahead with that.
Yeah.
And go, okay, what are we going to do with it? Okay, so kind of fast forward a little bit here. You've created the Money Masters NFT, and I want to know, why did you do that? How did you go from just, okay, I'm interested in crypto and trading, and I got to learn this stuff, to now I'm going to create my own NFT project?
Yeah, there's a long story there. I didn't ever think I was going to start my own project. That was never really the plan. What this grew out of was a few things, which I'll just give you the very truncated version here. I've been this person kind of saying, look, it's hard to make money in crypto just trading, just going and saying, hey, I'm going to, buy this meme coin, I'll buy this meme coin, hold on to it for a while and then sell it. Knowing the timing of that is pretty much impossible. Under 1% of day traders doing that are profitable. Yeah. So when you're meeting someone who's telling you that they're doing that and they're, you know, crushing it and they bought their third house in Dubai or something, they're probably lying to you. They're probably not doing that. And, or they're part of that, you know, sub 1%. Yeah. I'm certainly not that person. I've been pretty much full-time crypto now for about 6 years. And if I want to lose money, then I just go trade coins. Right. Okay. Or I just throw money out of my window when I'm driving on the freeway. What I discovered was liquidity pools and providing liquidity. When I discovered it, I was like, okay, this is it. This makes sense. This is the hack right here. And there's certain places you can do it where, you know, it pays better than others. And, you know, I just discovered the best place to do it on the base chain. And, you know, again, there's a really long story here of how this all happened, but I found it. When I found it, again, I was just like, wow, this is it. This is the key. I proofed it out as I'm still working my construction company, mind you. And then I saw, wow, this thing is really working. Yeah. And then I started to, you know, go a little bit bigger with it and put a little bit more money into it and see where I'm at. And then it was like, okay, well, let's get to a point to where this is covering like my monthly nut. Like, let's get to a point where it's covering my mortgage and car payment. Right. Let's see how long I can do that. Okay, wow, it's doing it. No, okay, and it's doing this consistently now. Yeah. And then when I was like finally at the point to where I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable enough now to say I'm not going to take another job. Yeah. And I'm going to just live solely on this. And I made the jump, and I've been doing that now for a few years, and it's great. I mean, last year I traveled all around Europe. I went to Europe 6 different times. You know, I can do this anywhere, yeah. Right? I need a cell phone or a laptop and an internet connection. Yeah. And that's kind of always been my goal is, you know, live a truly free life, you know, you always got to serve somebody, right? There's always someone that you're serving, but live a life where I get to make the rules, right? Where if I don't want to wake up to an alarm clock, I don't have to. Right. If I want to go get on a plane and go to Italy, I can go do that right now. And I've been able to build that life doing this. Yeah. And I did not have that. Thing I had when I had my construction company is it was making a lot of money, sure. But I was gonna, you know, I always felt like I was on the edge of a heart attack. Right. You know, you got to meet payroll. You've got this crazy client, and this stone from Italy isn't coming in on time, and you know, just so many things, so many moving parts, and again, you just stress. Just again, I like my hair, you know, you know, so it
not on the floor.
Yeah, exactly, and you know, just again, it stopped. I would say it stopped being fun. I think a better look, building homes is very fun. It's very fulfilling. The feeling you get when you walk away from a 20,000 square foot home, that's, you know, $20 million house, and you get to stand back at that and say, wow, I built that thing. It is a profound sense of achievement and accomplishment. And you know, every stud bay in that house, it feels good. Don't get me wrong. That is a feeling that is second to none. But I was getting that feeling a lot less, and getting the feeling of the, you know, complaining homeowner and, you know, psychotic architect, to where I was like, okay, you know, I've had my fill. And,
let's talk about your project here. And so how does your piece there of, okay, I found this little honey hole.
Yeah. How
does that relate to the NFT project specifically?
Well, so basically what I do, what I found with the liquidity pools, I just figured out a way to sell NFTs to give people access to that, basically. So, so
they can jump in the game with you through this project.
Yes. And so essentially what it is by buying the NFT, you get access to what I do. Yeah. And the name of the game is, you know, the more NFTs you have, the more money you'll make with it. The way this is structured is every month we do an airdrop. So let's say you buy 10 NFTs, the money from buying those NFTs will go into the liquidity pools. The money that is made in there, 50% of it is going to go back to you in an airdrop once a month. The other 50% is going to stay in the liquidity pool, so it grows. So no one's. That's the great thing too, is I'm not even taking a salary out of it or anything. It just all sits in there. My partner Christian, he takes nothing either. I own NFTs just like other holders, so it's a very fair system, I would say, for the holders. I'm invested right next to you. That's it's very simple.
Yeah.
It's a very simple project. Buy the NFT, it sits there in the liquidity pool. Every month on the first, we take a snapshot, and then we pay out on the first two. So this next first here, someone, if they had bought an NFT today, they'd be on the snapshot.
Right.
And then the following first, which would be October,
right,
they would get airdrop.
Yeah.
So it's very simple.
Yeah, I love that. My next question was going to be, for those of you that maybe think when they think of an NFT, they think art, or maybe not utilitarian.
Sure.
Obviously, this is like super, like I'm going to put money in, and there's like a purpose here.
Yes. So it's funny you say that. So, okay. Yeah. Lots of people they think art.
Right.
When we were creating this, so I definitely went against the grain here, 100%, because I always said, look, I never bought an NFT because I liked the art. In fact, the art's kind of stupid. Yeah. So it's kind of and I know I know once I walk out here, I might get, I'm going to be in trouble for that. Yeah. But let's just be honest. I mean, these are like digital monkeys and turtles, and it's like, right, we're not talking about Monet here, okay?
Yeah.
This is like stupid art. Calling it art is almost a little, okay, sure. Digital cartoon. I almost feel like you're like insulting artists,
Sure.
Like Van Gogh's going to come up out of his grave and be like, no, I made art. It's actually why so our NFT is just one picture. It's the same.
All
it's like
the same.
Like a dollar bill.
Sure.
And actually Van Gogh, that's why there's lilies in the background. That's like a hint to the Van Gogh lilies.
There you go.
And again, it looks like a dollar bill, kind of. It looks like a dollar guy wearing a red Money Masters hat and the lilies in the background, and it just kind of looks like a dollar bill with one, and then there'll be a 5 and a 10 and a 20 as the collection grows. So there's no. Again, you're asking before, like, what is an NFT, and lots of people do equate it with art. I said this. Why do people get into Web3 for? People get into Web3 to make money.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to be very first principled about this. Yeah. No one's ever bought an NFT because they said, holy crap, look at this in it. It's so beautiful. It's so good. Right. They get into it because they want it to make them money.
Right.
The problem is, though, NFTs have a structural problem. For you to make money, you have to sell your NFT. Right? So I like this project. I'm in this project. But for me to make money doing it, I need to leave the project.
The thing I like. Yeah.
Right? So I said, how do we turn that on its head? Well, I'm going to pay you to hold the NFT. You want to be in you want to be in the project?
Yeah.
Here, you have the NFT. You bought your way in. Now let's pay you to hold it. So now the way you make money is by holding, not by leaving.
Yeah. I have so many questions around that. The turning on the head piece is obviously, like, there's a lot of myths inside of NFTs and crypto that you're just like destroying with this upside down deal. How have you been able to, outside of, because it is so simple, and it almost feels like it would be so simple that people would like scratch their head and wonder if it could be true.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because crypto is so complicated. NFTs are so complicated. Web3 is so complicated, it feels like.
Yeah.
And so how do you look at you and go, okay, well, I just buy it and then you pay me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Has that been hard to sell because of that?
So look, I think there's always a little bit of skepticism, just period, in Web3, which I welcome. I want people to be that way because there are a lot of scams.
Yeah.
So be skeptical, kick tires, question everybody, including me. Make sure you trust everything you do. I will say this, the people who have bought into the project right now probably been people who know me from other projects.
Sure.
So there's been a lot of that. We're just starting to get to the point now. Again, we're not very old. We opened our mint on the 15th of July. So we're pretty new.
Yeah.
And we're just now starting to get to the point where we're getting people who like don't know me or don't know Christian, the other founder.
Yeah.
So I would say yes, there has definitely been some of that where I think what's going to happen is as another airdrop or
Yeah.
two happen,
Yep.
people will see, okay, these guys are actually paying out. That's actually happening.
There's a history.
Okay, I'll get in. So I know for a fact there's a lot of people waiting, like right now, like, okay, let's see what happens on September 1st, you know, and, you know, I think once that happens, people will say, okay, I'm in. I'm in.
Well, I think it's cool. I mean, even from an NFT holder myself, not knowing really much, you know, I would probably put myself on the baby version or the toddler version of the scale. But, you know, if I had an NFT that paid me, I would be pretty excited about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the simplicity of what you're talking about
right.
seems pretty awesome.
Well, and the thing is, I know of a couple other projects out there where I don't want to say it's similar because it is different. Well, like what they'll do is they'll like they'll take the money that people used to buy the NFT and then they'll like go buy Solana and like stake it. Sure. And then they'll pay back a percentage of that, kind of like a dividend type thing. Yeah. And, you know, it works out to like being like 10 cents an NFT or something. You know, it's like,
not worth it.
Not worth it. It's like nothing. That's not, you know, like our first airdrop's like $5, you know, so, you know, you have 100 of those, it's $500, you know, it's not bad. And the way I have this set up is basically to where you're made whole after about 3 or 4 airdrops. Okay. So you should be in profit after, you know, wherever you buy in about 3 airdrops after, you should be, okay, now I'm whole, now I'm into profit. Yeah. And, you know, our goal is what I've set out for everyone, like this is kind of step 1 is get to the point to where your monthly nut is covered. Yeah. So whatever that may be, you know, meet people where they're at. This is NFT, it's Web3, it's around the world. Yeah. Some people, you know, I've got a guy in India who he's like, hey, my monthly expenses are about $200 US. Great. Here's what you need. Here's how many you need to get there. You know, you got someone in New York where, you know, hey, my monthly nut's 10,000. Okay, right. Here's what you need to get there. Yeah. And, you know, seeing that happen with people, that's awesome. There's already like 3 people who I know are going to be there on their next airdrop. So I'm like, cool. This is great. Yeah. And then after that, like, okay, now you've got your monthly nut covered. Okay, now you're into profit. You know, put a little something aside, have a little emergency fund. Yeah. That's kind of step 2. Now step 3, you've got more money. Now let's start kind of reinvesting. And so I have like a whole little roadmap for people when they come in, like kind of what you should do to achieve, you know, financial independence.
I was going to say, we're talking about freedom here.
Yeah, it's freedom.
Yeah, as a real estate investor, as an entrepreneur, I mean, I've always, and even for someone like in our mastermind, we teach kids how to think about assets and how assets make money and not time. Obviously, time makes money too, but it's getting them to think differently. This is an asset that I get to invest in. And then over the course of time, my cash flow from that asset takes care of the things that I need. And so therefore, and actually this was a conversation I was having on social this morning. This is a guy, we were talking about the college, you know, as a scam. I posted that, I got eaten up by it, which I love. But this guy's like, you know, college educated folks on average statistically, you know, make X, and it's just so much higher than the not. And it's like, okay, well actually that's binary thinking to me.
Yeah, totally.
Freedom is not binary. Freedom is whether you have a monthly expense of $1,500 or $15,000.
Yep.
It's having that $15,000 paid for by an asset.
Yes.
Plus a little bit extra.
Yes.
And then going, well, what do I want to do now? Because I don't have to do anything.
That's right. That's exactly it. Right? That's exactly it. That's it. Yeah. That's what I've wanted for myself. And again, it's what I was saying a few minutes ago. You know, like I want to be able to wake up and say, what do I want to do? Because I don't have to do anything. Right. And that isn't to say that you don't work or something, you know.
We're builders.
I love.
We're going to keep adding value.
That's it. I wouldn't know what the hell to do with myself if I wasn't building something, you know, wasn't working, you know. So, it isn't to say I just sit around and eat, you know, potato chips all day. It's, you know, you're doing something that's fulfilling, and you know, giving you purpose. Yeah. And this to me, what we're doing here, I feel is creating such a large impact, and it's going to we're going to be able to show people, you know, how to achieve financial independence with this little NFT project. And, you know, I have a part in it, but ultimately it's on you as the NFT holder, right? Yeah. To stay disciplined, follow the program and do it, and get yourself to a point where you yourself are independent and free, and you can have that same thing that I have, where you wake up in the morning and say, what do I want to do today? Yeah. You know, that, and to me, again, I was talking about that feeling of achievement, right? After building a home, like to me, that is such a better feeling of achievement to say to someone, hey, hey, here's how you get financially free. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's listening to this right now, whether they're an entrepreneur, a crypto investor, an NFT holder, whatever, I mean, they resonate with this because that's really what it's about. Even the big brother comments of like not, wanting, we want blockchain to be open so we can see it. And it's like, what that really means is freedom.
Yes, that's right. That's it. That's
what it really means is freedom. What you have done here, Joe, is that you have brought basically NFTs and, DeFi or decentralized finance, and you've merged them together.
Sure. Yeah.
Talk about decentralized finance for a second, and then how these two things are playing together.
Well,
in your world.
So the way we've done that, right, is we've kind of taken the bottom layer of DeFi, providing liquidity to a coin, to given coins, and then kind of brought access to that through an NFT, I guess, right? Yeah. So that's how that marriage has happened. And so, DeFi can be something that is still not very understood and kind of hard to. It's intimidating for some people. Sure. I think you start saying like liquidity pool. You start getting even just some of the vocabulary is kind of like, what are you talking about? What it sounds complicated. It sounds hard to do. Explaining it to people, they don't know. Again, there's a mystery around it. Part of this is because of like what you're doing with kids, which I think is great. Just people just aren't educated on this stuff. Yeah. Some of it is just simply that. Yeah. It's like ask someone what's the difference between like money and currency or something, right? Like people don't know some of that stuff, and so.
Bro, I'm finding out they don't even know how to introduce themselves. Look adults in the eyes.
Yeah, right. Right. Exactly. So some of it is just that, where I think people get intimidated by that. So this is a way for people to you don't need to become an expert in DeFi, decentralized finance. You don't need to become an expert with liquidity pools and all that. You can buy an NFT and now you have access to it. And you have someone doing it for you who knows what he's doing, right? I think, and here's the other thing too. One thing we do like in our Discord, I have a calendar on there because I want to meet every holder. I want to sit down. I want to have at least one time do a voice call with them, a video call, and see each other face to face, talk to each other. What are your goals? Like that's kind of when we do that talk. Like, what are your goals? Where are you at? And we kind of put together a personalized plan for you. When we're doing that, the goal is obviously to make like a tailored plan for that person so that they can achieve their monthly nut and all that stuff. Right. But it's also so that you can see how this is done, because one thing I do when I do that one-on-one is I kind of take them through and I say, look, here's how I'm doing this, and I walk them through so that you could come in, you could buy one NFT, sign up, do a one-on-one with me, see exactly how I do it, and then sell your NFT and say, bye, Joe, I'm doing it on my own. I'm fine with that. Good luck to you, because what I'm giving you the recipe, I'm giving you the ingredients, everything. The thing is, though, is you don't have the chef, I guess, So I think that's kind of the one piece here is it's me doing it. I've gone through, I've skinned my knee. I've learned how to do this. But again, I have no problem teaching people what we're doing, how to do it, and you can go do it yourself. In fact, one of my goals is after people have kind of been in this for, say, a year, 2 years, start taking some of that profit and doing it on your own. Go play around, and maybe you find a better way than me, and then come tell me so that we can do it for the rest of the group. So we're not gatekeeping. We're not trying to keep secrets from anyone. Again, that's just not in the spirit of DeFi. That's right. So
or abundance, really,
or abundance. Exactly. Yeah. So again, I don't exactly. That's just not the mindset of the project. It's not like, hey, we have this secret that we're protecting and we're going to make money off it. Right. Again, the way even I make money off this is being an NFT holder just like you, so again, that's just not the spirit of this.
Yeah.
The spirit of this is very much one of, I can tell you've read a lot of the same books as me and stuff, it is very much like a Napoleon Hill, T. Harv Eckert, kind of, abundant spirit.
Abundance. And guess what? There is plenty, especially, gosh, we're 2025 right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have known in 2017 when I had my crypto awakening, as you called it, if I would have pictured myself here, making the money that I've made.
Sure.
Really having no clue what I was doing.
Sure.
But being, and even looking at blockchain or Bitcoin and all the other ones, where they are today, and going, bro, that was not that long ago.
It wasn't. Yeah.
And it's gonna just
exactly.
Here
exactly.
In the future. So if someone's listening right now, what are the steps for them to, one, generally just get involved with NFTs? Two, how can they get involved with your NFT?
Sure. So, if you just want to generally get involved in NFTs, I would, and it's probably not very popular, I'd probably say don't. If you don't know what you're doing it,
what should they be thinking about? What should they be considering?
So, okay, again, I know I'm totally against the conventional thinking on this. And again, it's because so many people do get wrecked going out. Because right now, everyone's trying to play meme coins. And again, to me, this is like scratching lotto tickets. You're not going to make money that way. It's not smart. You're not going to. So if you're really just like, hey, I don't know what to do, but I do want to get involved in crypto somehow, but I don't want to learn, buy some Bitcoin, let it sit there and don't touch it. Come back and look at it in 10 years and you'll be very happy. I would say do that. If you don't want to learn anything and you want to do minimal effort with maximum reward, go buy some Bitcoin, let it sit there and don't touch it. Don't look at the charts. Just go live your life. It's going to go up and down. And again, don't look at the charts, come back in 10 years and then you'll be happy. But if you do want to get involved and you want to really learn this stuff and, kind of do what you and I have done, you can reach me on my X profile at Joe, Joe, M like Michael, G like George, 2018. That's the year, actually, 2018. So Joe MG 2018, and then at Soul Money Masters is kind of the project. You can follow us there and send me a DM. I do, believe it or not, read all my DMs and try to get back to everybody. It's normally not very quick. So I will get back to you, though. It's just probably not going to be within the first hour. But again, at Joe MG 2018 or at Soul, SOL Money Masters.
I love it. I'm sure the editors are going to throw that in the show notes as well. For you that are listening, you might be wondering, like, man, this sounds like awesome. And from a guy that is down to earth, construction guy, seems like we've taken all the complication out of it and put.
My name's Joe, for God's sake. Come on.
Exactly. I love it. I don't know. In my mind, I'm about to purchase an 8-location vending machine business for my 11 and 9-year-old daughters. And we've kind of got it mapped out. We should be closing here in a couple of weeks. And they're going to be making, probably $2,000 a month or something like that on the business after expenses. And so I'm like, okay, how can we get that into this project?
There you go. Yeah.
And start mapping out for them what it looks like to X, Y, and Z. So if you're like that, check the information down below about Joe and how to get in touch with him. But dude, thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This event is wild. If you aren't even familiar with this event, I'm sure it's going to be happening again next year. Don't miss out. But thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate you.
Absolutely. Take care. Thank you.